Hi, welcome to the MIXX Network. My name is Lashonda Crawford, and I am here with our honored guest, none other than Valencia Abbott, who was, of course, for 2025, selected as History Teacher of the Year. Congratulations.
Thank you. I am so happy to be here.
Can you please share with us, for some of us, of course, I know there's a different type of categories, Teacher of the Year, History Teacher of the Year, which you shared with me prior. Share with us the difference and the categories and
All right. Um, History Teacher of the Year is through the organization Gilder Lemmer
Mhm.
Institute of American History, 22 years.
Okay.
This program has been going on. So they select teachers from the state level,
Mhm.
and including DC. And then from there, you go to the finalists. And from the 10 finalists, you choose a history teacher of the year.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes, it's in New York. The ceremony is in New York. That's where Gilder Lemmer is located. Um, the ceremony was November 4th, 5th,
Okay.
the first week in November. I got to go with my immediate family, my principal, to the ceremony. It's a great honor. It is just a great honor to even be nominated
Mhm.
because the nominations come from students, your colleagues, community members. So to get that recognition at that level means a whole lot.
Oh, wow, that's wonderful. I didn't realize they took you all the way to New York and
Yes, yes, it
that
was.
was a wonderful
It
experience.
was, it was 3 days to
Oh,
see
wow.
that, and, part of that, I got to take some members of my immediate family, so to see New York with my grandson,
Mhm.
through his eyes was a whole different experience.
Now, was this your first time being nominated?
No, over probably the last 13 years, I've been nominated almost every year, but then you get to choose if you want to do the application.
Okay, okay.
And this was the second time that I chose to do it.
Oh, wonderful,
Yeah,
wonderful.
the application is a bear. It's no joke um, with that. So I am just ecstatic.
Yeah.
I was thrilled and still, in some cases, still can't believe that it happened.
Yeah. And being able to share this experience with not just your children, but a grandchild, of course,
Yes,
and being able to do that, I bet that was a wonderful experience for them to see you in that position.
it was, and not that I think that they totally get it. The grandson that went with me is on the spectrum.
Mhm.
He just knows me that he went to New York with his big mama. Uh, and my other grandchildren are in Georgia, so,
Yeah.
um, they know that we see a lot of history just doing that big mama thing.
Mhm.
So but to them, I'm just their grandmother.
Well, that's good, that's good, and
It
especially, of course, having a passion and being nominated first and foremost,
Yes.
but even going to this extent with education, and I bet it's a great, legacy to leave, of course,
Yeah,
regardless, you know?
yes, I say with 3 daughters, I didn't get one historian out of it,
Mhm.
but I got 5 grandchildren, so I still got a chance.
Well, keep on aiming, keep on
Yes,
aiming.
yeah.
Now share with us a little bit the origin. What got you, what motivated you, of course, to pursue education?
Well, one of my story into education is a little bit different. I didn't start teaching until I was nearly 40 years old.
Oh, okay.
Uh, with that, so it was definitely second career.
Mhm.
I started at Beesville Middle School doing a long-term sub, and at the end of that term, I knew that this was my purpose.
Mm.
And I don't think that would have been the case if it wasn't for the classroom that I subbed in. The teacher that I subbed in taught history and English, my two passions put together. I love reading, and the fact that it was with history on it made it better. So at the end of that year, I was like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
Not that this was my job. I'm supposed to be a history teacher. And now they did try to make convinced me to get certified for English, but I was like, no, I want I would stay with history. Yeah, and grammar and semicolon and all of that stuff wasn't going to work. So I had a really great principal that believed that I could do this, and she hired me, and I just went through the process and became a teacher.
Wow, at the age in your 40s.
Yes,
That's
and I've been teaching for 21 years.
Oh, wow, you look great. She's telling the truth, y'all. I think she kinda lied a little bit.
No,
But
no,
you're aging gracefully. I mean,
thank you.
especially, of course, for 20 years, over 20 years doing it, starting, at a latter part in your life, all of a sudden to say, "Okay, let me just go ahead and start dealing with people kids."
Oh, yeah, my friends thought that I was absolutely crazy.
Oh, that's
They
okay.
and they told me that I was crazy.
That's okay, that's
Yeah, that
okay.
was
Well,
okay.
it's something when you finally discover, or not saying finally discover a passion, but wanna be able to share, the information and being able to kinda sew into to kids. What's the age? What level of history are you teaching?
I started in middle school. Now I am at Rockingham Early College High School,
Uh-huh.
and I teach 10th grade civics. But our school goes from 9 to 13 because it's a 5-year program.
Okay.
So we have 50 years.
Oh, wow, wow.
Yeah, so
Okay.
they can stay that extra year to work to get their associate degree if they want.
Got you. Okay, good. Yeah, so I know that a lot of people aim to retire after a certain period of time, but since you got late in the game, how long do you wanna keep on teaching?
Well, if I had my preference, I think this would be my last year, but I am planning at least 4 more years.
So, was there a teacher in your past, in your life, of course, that made that type of deposit in your life, whether it was a history teacher or not, that says, I want to become that type of person, and be able to kind of sew into the kids' lives that you have, that you touch today? Is there a teacher in your past that you can just reflect on?
I have had many wonderful teachers, starting from 1st grade all the way up to grad school. In my life, and I've been really blessed. But I think the thing that set everything apart for me is that I came in under that part of desegregation.
Hmm.
I have friends that's a year or 2 years older than me that went to a segregated school.
Oh,
I don't remember ever doing that. So when I went, it was desegregated. But along that line, I had Black teachers from the start. My 1st grade teacher, Miss Neal and Miss Price, my 4th grade teacher, Miss Jones, my 5th grade teacher, Miss Towns, and even going into 8th grade with teachers, Black teachers, and a couple in high school. So to have Black teachers at that particular time to see a version of who we can become
yeah,
outside of my family, outside of my community, I think was really emboldened
yeah.
um, for that course. Even though at that time, no one could have ever told me that I would have been a teacher. And we know that the research says that having a Black teacher and how it impacts going to college and to be the daughter of 2 parents that didn't graduate from high school
Hmm.
and to want to go to college and to do that right after high school and to be able to mark that
Yeah.
complete, um, I am gonna lay it solely at the feet of having Black teachers in my
Yeah.
life.
I think that's important. I think I didn't realize how important that was until my son went to a charter school, which was geared towards Black and Brown children. And I have to say that in his earlier years, he understood the importance of being a young Black boy.
Yes.
I don't think he would have gotten that if he would have started off in a public school, which he later did. And I saw him losing that a little bit. But having, as you stated, those Black positive role models
Yes,
is key.
yes.
Is key.
And I think for Black children to see that, and Black
Mhm.
children at the time that I was coming at this through the school system.
Yeah.
It was essential.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I bet it was. I bet it was. And being able to still, hopefully, how time has changed. Teaching is different today than I remember my teachers were.
Oh yes,
Children are different.
yeah. I think children are the same. It's the process
Mhm.
that's different, or the expectations that is different. But even from the time that I started 21 years ago until today, it is not the same
No,
space.
yeah, it's not. It's not. And I'm not sure what word of advice or what would you share to some of these younger teachers that are coming in?
Um,
Not just the history teachers, because we're going to get to that part, but I'm talking about that level of still having that type of passion. I mean, for you to be where you are now, to have won the 2025 History Teacher of the Year, it says something about more than just the knowledge you carry. Is that the type of person you are?
um, well, to answer your question and not answer your question, um, I think for me, one of the things that carries me is that I am a history teacher.
Mhm.
I remember one time in Virginia when I was teaching in Virginia for a while. Um, the principal was making a point. She was like, "We're all teachers, and we can do this and we can do that." I think for me, it is the desire, the passion to want to do that
Yeah.
and to do something that you absolutely love. Um, is what carries me. So to say all teachers, I don't know, because I think it has to be something inside that you desire,
Mhm.
that you want to do. Um, because this is a tough job. I mean, it is so hard. Even on your good days, even when everything is going great, to get up at the crack of dawn, to know that your workday doesn't end at 3 o'clock, to do everything that's expected of you and to do it at that level requires you to have a passion or connection beyond that. I'm just a teacher.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I agree. Because if when it becomes a paycheck, uh,
And
that's
and and
yeah,
then that's also part of the issue, is because it's not a paycheck.
yeah.
I just before I got here, I was on social media, and the teacher in Texas was um talking about the salary, and that they were thinking of having to go to a food bank
Mm.
to survive. So is we know that teachers are not getting paid, and that's part of it. We are professionals. Most of the teachers that I work with not only have undergrad degrees, they have masters,
Mhm.
they have beyond masters, they're doctors. All of this, and not to get paid for what we have,
Yeah.
that's tough. So to give advice to teachers like, this is what I'm gonna do, or this is what you should do, I think that's an individual task
Mhm.
that they have to decide what's
Yeah.
good for them.
And they gotta be willing to know what
Right. And for me, being a history teacher, I don't think I would be as effective even if I was teaching English, which I love doing. But for me, I read history textbooks for fun.
Mhm.
I double check documentaries. If you pull up my Netflix,
Oh,
documentaries
Lord.
come right. Um, when I go to travel, I go to historical site. The first place that I took my eldest grandson was to the History Museum to see the preliminary Emancipation Proclamation. He was 6 months old.
Mm. Wow.
So I love doing
Yeah,
this
yeah.
in this space. So, and not all teachers are there or want to be there. They just want to
Mhm.
go and just teach.
Yeah.
So
Be more
for me having that passion of teaching something that I absolutely love teaching,
yeah.
and to be able to do that is great. My daughters were thrilled that I became a teacher. they swore that they went to more museums than any normal people on the face of the earth, and that was before I became a history teacher. So I had somewhere to direct my love for.
Yeah.
So teaching is hard, but to teach with something that you love doing makes it a little bit easier.
So before you got into the teaching at the age of 40, what were you doing before that?
Um, well, right after graduation, I was a paralegal.
Wow. Okay.
My undergrad degree is from Catawba College, political science pre-law with a minor in speech. So when I came back home, back to Rockingham County, one of the jobs I was a paralegal, and I did that for a couple of years, and then baby number 3, which was a surprise. She was a surprise gift.
Wow.
And then I became a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when I went back into the workforce, I went into customer service.
Okay. Okay. So you just kind of did what you could do until, of course, you got a taste
Yes.
of what.
And then when that job changed, and I lost my job, and I was like, okay, now what am I going to do?
Yeah.
I actually went into subbing. I was like, well, let me just get a job until I can figure out what I'm supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
And not knowing that that's what I'm supposed
Going
to
to give
be
you a
doing.
little
Right.
a taste of your future.
Yes.
I did the subbing for a while, and I loved it. I don't know if I.
But again, it was because I was in that classroom.
Yeah,
Because if I was in a math classroom,
it wouldn't have been.
it wouldn't have been the same
It
results.
would have been something totally different.
Right. I would have subbed, and I think I would have done well at it,
Yeah,
but it wouldn't have been something at the end I would have said, "Oh, I'm supposed to be a teacher."
yeah. And find
It
yourself 20 some years later, and here you.
Right. So it wouldn't have been if I had been in a science class. The fact that it was a history class, it was social studies class and an English
Yeah,
class together. So those two things that I just gravitated towards
yeah.
and to make it a career.
So let me ask. I know you say you're doing civics and you're teaching, and I think I looked on your resume. You study a little bit of the African culture as well, correct?
Yes, I have a post-baccalaureate certificate in African American Studies from
Okay.
UNCG.
All right. Is that a subject that you teach as well, or you have a desire to eventually try to teach?
To teach a course, I would love to. Eventually, in the public school, I don't see that happening here
Yeah.
anytime soon. But but I teach Black history all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Me personally, on Facebook and Substack, I have what I call Black Friday history post.
Mm-hmm.
So I put it there. Anything that I've done outside projects is always rooted in Black history.
That's good. That's good.
Because if I'm going to spend my time doing something, especially when I'm not getting paid,
Yeah. Yeah. You might as well.
I'm going to do something that am passionate about.
Yeah.
So all of my projects, everything that I personally have done is rooted in Black history.
Okay, okay, and that's good. And I think that's where I was telling you earlier with my son and the black and brown, that information for Black history, he would know facts. I think I can see him walking in and you can give him a year, and he can just tell you when this event happened. This is what took place. You can tell who's the 13th president or something. And he's able to recall that information. I don't know where he stores it at, but he's able to do so. All right, for our audience and who may not know, as well as myself, of course, share with us in details what the Griggs versus the Duke Power Project is.
Okay. So to tell the story of Griggs, I have to tell how it started.
Mhm.
So when I came back to Rockingham County, um, my high school history teacher reached out to me, and she was on the program committee for the MARC, which is the Museum Archives of Rockingham County. And she asked me to be on the program committee. So this is my high school history teacher. And as soon as she said, I was like, yes, ma'am. I mean, what else was I going to say?
Exactly.
So I was on the program committee, I think around 2012 when I came back. And again, just as it's saying, we created programs for the museum. And around 2018, we're at a meeting trying to create programs, and I knew just a little bit about Griggs. I knew that it originated here in Rockingham County, and I was like, okay, and it wouldn't leave me. So I left that meeting and I went home, and I knew that it was a Supreme Court case. It was a United States Supreme Court case. But beyond that, I knew very little. Um, I added it up. I actually probably added and re-added because I don't do math. And I figured out that the 50th anniversary of that Supreme Court case was going to be in 2021. And I wanted it acknowledged. So um, I started the research. So the Griggs case is a United States Supreme Court case. The decision was made on March 8th, 1971, and it concerned African American men who worked in the labor department at the Dan River Steam Plant. Now, originally, it was 14 men. Um, by the time that it goes through the legal system, it's going to be 13 because one of them, Jesse Martin, will drop off because he gets a promotion. So these 13 men were fighting for the right to apply for promotions outside of the labor department because at that time Duke, it was called Duke Power. Duke Power Company only allowed the black men to work in the labor department, which was the lowest department as far as pay. It was more manual labor, and that was the only place that they could work was there. They couldn't apply for anywhere else. So it's gonna take a 5-year journey to get there. But these 14 men fought Duke Power, which was probably at that time one of the biggest entities, um, not only in Rockingham County, but probably in the state, for that right to work. And that case set employment law that still stands today. Now, one of the things with that case that with the help of my students over the years is that we will learn that 11 of the 14 men involved, because I use 14, not 13 because of Jesse Martin being one of the original ones, that 11 of those 14 men were World War II veterans.
Wow.
And the history of that is that we know that the modern civil rights movement began when Black soldiers came back from World War II. But that was never shared. That's never been published until I started doing my research and putting that out there and putting this in a different light. And from there, from that research from 2018. So from 2018 probably to 2021, I was solo getting the research done. Um, and then I was able to get 2 grants. One was from National Geographic. So I had this first cohort of students to help me with research. And then later on, I was able to get a 3-year grant through National Council of History Education. And so I had different cohorts of students every 3 years. So that actually helped get the research out there faster and then doing it by myself. Um, with that. And through that, we've gotten 2 historical markers. One from the African American Commission for the Civil Rights Trail, which is at the Mark. And then the one that I am really proud of. I'm proud of the first one, but the highway historical marker was something that I initiated. It was me. I'm doing this. Had never done it before. I know that the personnel in Raleigh, when I came with 1,000 questions, because I didn't know how I'm going to get this, and I really wanted a highway historical marker. Um, that's permanent. That's not going to be erased. That's always going to be there. So the highway historical marker is in Eaton. across from the hospital. And because there's certain requirements that you have to have for highway historical marker, has to be within so many feet of the actual event that's happening. So um, I am just really, really elated that I got to be the one to tell that story, the griot, the storyteller, because that's what history is. History is telling stories. And whose story is going to get told, whose story is going to matter. And the other part with the Griggs is these men's last name are the names of many of the students I've had over the years. Wow. So imagine finding out that your great great uncle or your great uncle or your dad or even someone that your family knew was part of a United States Supreme Court, and you may have never had known before. Yeah, exactly. Yes. Exactly. Tell me about, first of all, I think maybe some of those wow moments for some of them, as well as some of the obstacles that you came across. Because again, you are digging up history, yes, and in some cases, people don't want the story told. Well, I don't think for the Griggs case, it wasn't that they didn't want the story told. I think it was not seeing the value in the story that they had. That they had. That for them, it was their dad or their uncle, and they're just living their lives. The men did not get any money. They didn't get any reparations for this. It wasn't a big settlement. The case was done and they went to work. And that was it. So for them, it was just their lives. And I don't know if the grand part of it was really understood or even cared about when, okay, I just got to get up and do my job. And then for it to be not to start until almost 50 years after the case was decided, none of the men were alive when I started my research. Wow. And then the perspective of someone that was a child versus the perspective as an adult changes because they did not see them as this is a plaintiff, this is a historical moment. That's my daddy. So trying to get that history out has been challenging with that. And then it takes so much time. And people are just trying to live their lives and trying to do things. And you're asking someone, would you go and like dig through all of this paperwork, all of this? Research it for me. No, and to find this and to do that. And they're just trying to live their lives. And so then I have to go through other means to get it. And every day or every moment that I don't get, it's going to be lost. That was probably, and that probably still is the biggest challenge for me, is that I know that as much as I've captured, as much as my students have worked, there's so much that has been lost that's never going to be found. And this year, I don't have a grant. I'm not funded, so I'm back doing solo work. And this year, I'm looking at Black resistance, Black churches and that resistance, because that's how my research started with that, was that I know with Black people, everything is going to start with the church. If I can't go to the family directly, I needed to start with the church. So that's where I started my research. I've been in graveyards, cemeteries, backup churches, because I needed to document this. And I was just going to ask you, did the Griggs versus Duke Power project stir up any other type of projects or any other? Well, the World War II thing is probably the most significant part to come out. One, because it's never been published. It's never been anywhere that they looked at these men and put these dots together. Oh, they're World War II veterans. Because my argument would be if they were not World War II veterans, I don't think we would have had the same results. To have over 10 men who's World War II veterans in the same place at the same time is a different feeling, different space, and I think that organically made this happen.
Yeah, yeah.
Because if they wasn't, I don't think it would have
It
been
would
the
have
same.
made a difference.
It wouldn't have been the same results because their experience with being in the military
Mhm.
and coming home to face the discrimination that they did
Yeah,
fueled the desire that those that didn't do that
yeah.
hadn't gotten there yet. So
Yeah.
yes.
Let me ask this question. When it comes down to teaching history and sharing history, um, have over the last 20 years, have you noticed the increase of not desire to know from your students, or the amount of students, has the number shifted in a sense? Um, you know, discovery of teaching. Did you know facts? Um, are they more inclined to want to know? Do they want to dig deeper? Or is it more or less still not the same in the last 20 years?
I will say the majority of students that walk into my social studies class probably come in not wanting to do social studies. Social studies history is the stepchild of the curriculum.
Hmm.
That's the course that most um if you need to do something or interrupt you, it's going to be the history class.
Yeah.
That's done, and that's been the case no matter what school I'm at or what district that I'm teaching at. Most students come into my history class with they're bored. They because of the way that they've been taught before.
Yeah.
If all you do is read something, answer questions in the back of the book,
Hmm.
that's not engaging.
Yeah, tweak.
And I'm not saying every history
Yeah.
teacher has ever taught that way, but the majority come in not liking history.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when you come into my class, if you tell it like a story, if you let them see the importance of themselves in the story,
Yeah.
then they're more likely. Now, I'm not saying that every student that ever walked into likes my class or likes history. That is not the case. But I have definitely over the years had students to come and say, I've never liked history until I had your class.
Well, that's good.
Now, I have had many students said that they've never liked history until they had my class, and that makes me feel better.
Yeah, that is good because
Right,
then you become that teacher.
right.
Like how you just rolled off the names of those teachers that made an impact in your life. You want to be able to say, okay, I remember Miss Abbott. She was that teacher.
Yes, and at the ceremony, they actually had one of my former students to come and speak on my behalf.
Okay.
Natalie Jones, she is at UNCG, and she is in elementary education, and she credits me for wanting to be a teacher. Elementary teacher, I give her all
Give
of
her
the
all
due
of it.
because I could not imagine.
Okay.
I cannot imagine
You
being an elementary.
elementary, those
So
kids.
I'm glad she thinks that, but that's something deep within her because
Yeah.
elementary. Whew,
Oh, you a gift from God.
yes, yes,
You are
yeah,
a gift from God. I'm
yes,
telling you.
yes.
Those kids are not trained yet. They
That is a different sphere
yes.
with that. But yes, she's going to be an elementary school
Well, that's
teacher.
good then. I mean, honestly, if they have a way with them, they have opportunity to make that first
Oh yes,
deposit,
oh yes.
and if they're able to get them, and hopefully be able to.
Oh, I think elementary school teachers have a
Um,
fast track to heaven. They have
yeah,
to.
their name should be already
Yes, that
written.
already on the books. Already on the
Already on the
books.
books. No matter what you do out there in the streets,
Doesn't matter if you're an elementary school teacher.
you're
Yeah,
good to go.
you're
Level
good to go.
three. Yep,
Yes.
yep. Well, one thing I would love to. What message would you have for any student today Because I know there's a class that you have a full, seats are full, and there are times that some students may feel like they're just sliding through, and maybe no one's noticed them, they haven't seen them. What message would you like to relay or to give or to speak to share with that child that may feel unseen?
To be an advocate for themselves.
Yeah.
To say that, and I'm gonna tell this. I had a student a couple of years ago. It's all got messed up, so I can't even remember which year she graduated. And she was a really great student. She did really well in my class. She was part of history club, and I remember we were doing something after school, working with students, and she just casually mentioned, she's Asian, and she casually mentioned that she had not seen her culture, herself in any curriculum
Wow.
or anything. And she had already had me, so that was the year she was graduating, and it made me pause. And she wasn't condemning, we
Yeah.
was just having that conversation. And I was like, "Mm, okay." So you know how sometimes a message is meant for you to hear?
Yeah.
And it gave me pause. And I remember that summer, I was like deep into Asian and Asian American history. I was watching documentaries, I was doing research. I came back that following year. Now, I am in no way an expert on Asian and Asian American history,
Mhm.
but I guarantee you now that if someone comes
Yeah.
in my class,
Yeah.
they're going to see themselves
Uh,
somewhere within that semester
Yeah.
with that. But if she had not had spoken those words, it may have never have come to me.
Yeah.
So, and not that it would have been intentional that I was trying to leave them out,
Mhm.
but be an advocate. If your teacher is not giving you what you need,
Yeah.
then be an advocate. I tell my students to question everything, question the source. Why are we reading this book?
Mhm.
Question the information, and they're even to question me. Now they have to do it with the right tone and
Yeah, yeah.
attitude.
Give it respect. Please.
But I tell my students, you can question me.
Yeah.
Why are we reading this book?
Mhm.
Why this one and not this one?
Yeah.
Okay. What message you want to do, but you have to be an advocate for yourself, because when I was going through school, you didn't do that.
Mhm.
You didn't dare.
Question authority.
Right.
Not realizing there's a proper way to question.
Right. But even to teach them how to do that is
Yeah.
teaching.
Yeah.
But you you should be able to see yourself somewhere within that curriculum,
That's good.
to see something that you connected to see something that you like doing,
Mhm.
for you to be involved in, and especially history. History is not the past. When students think this is the past, no, we need to know where we've been to know where we're
To where
going.
to go. I agree. I agree.
So, I mean, that's Sankofa,
Yeah.
that you have to know that, and understanding, for my kids to understand that it's not a date. I tell them all the time. They'll ask me a date. I was like, I don't know that. Or they ask me someone's name. I was like, I don't know that. Because those are facts or things I can look up.
Yeah.
But to understand the importance, if I'm studying the Civil War, I don't need to know all of these battles and call them out by name. I need to understand the significance of what's going on
Yeah.
and how that's relevant to my space now.
Exactly. How does it apply and why? Because I think one of the arguments is why do I need to learn that? What
Right.
class? What they got
Right.
to do with me now?
Right. And
What's
when you tell those stories to students, and they see that it matters.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not saying that they automatically start giving you like superior work, but it does make it easier.
Yeah, it does. I bet. I bet. I like that. I like that. I really do. I love that, and I think too when you stated with the Asian student, I think we fought so hard as a black people for our voice, for our history. We're not that we don't care, but because we're not them, it's just kind of hard. But I think when she made that point, I never even looked at it. Not we're ignoring the Asian culture or any other culture that played a major part in the building
Right.
of who we are. But that was so important for you to hear her voice
Right.
and to be able to act on it. Because I think as teachers or as adults, we can't get so caught up. I'm the adult,
Right.
you know.
And for us to actually listen
Yeah,
to our students and
I like
to
that.
to know that they matter,
Yeah,
and when they see that they matter, it makes that relationship
oh
in
yeah.
the classroom a lot better. And it's not friendship.
Mm-mm.
It's not friendship. It is that teacher-student bond, that
Yeah,
relationship.
yeah.
Because I want the same thing for my students that I want for my daughters.
Mm-hmm.
And
And your
I think
grandbaby.
that comes from not going through that regular
Yeah.
way of becoming a teacher. I want my daughters to have the life that they want,
Mhm.
that they dreamed. I want my daughters to live their lives without me being in it.
Yeah.
That's the same thing I want with my students. I want my students to leave my classroom the strongest student ever. And if I never see them again, or if they never think about me again, or if they never come back and say, "Oh, you have," that doesn't matter. I want them to be able to be successful
Mhm.
without me. And that's my job, is to get them there.
Exactly. Sow that seed and
Right.
let
And
that
and
seed.
and go and make and be
Yeah.
happy
Yeah.
and do your life.
Yeah.
So it isn't just about, oh, I'm teaching a history fact.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I have to go look it up. They're like, I don't know. I hear I don't know from me all the time. I'm like, what's that? I don't know. I don't know.
Well, let's look it up. We're gonna find.
Right.
We're gonna find.
Right. That's it. I was like, we can look that up. And
Exactly.
then, or the other one is, you know what, you look that up and come back and you tell me,
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes I can't stop, or I know I'm not going to do that because, but you can, and you can
You
tell me and
can
share. And then
exactly.
I become more knowledgeable. I become empowered
Mhm.
with that, because one of the greatest things is when someone can teach you something,
Yeah.
then you know that they got it.
Mhm. And it's also that I can become the student. There's nothing wrong, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not to the point in my life where I've stopped learning.
Right.
And that's another valuable lesson, you know, teach our kids is that I don't care how old you get. There's
Yeah.
always room for learning.
Yeah, it's amazing, what they can bring to the
Yeah.
table. And just this afternoon, we're finishing up the judicial branch, and a student, the projects are due today. And a student came to show me what she was doing, and she's explaining it, and I'm sitting there going, just just amazed
Yeah. Yeah.
at what she brought to the table, and just looking at, she done went like 1,000 different ways, and I'm just like, okay, yes.
See? The power of young minds.
Yes.
Oh, well, I'm gonna tell you this. It was wonderful having you here
Thank
on the
you.
MIXX Network, Miss Valencia Abbott. And I'm telling you, congratulations.
Thank you.
Keep on look, you shouldn't be trying to retire in about 3 years. Because you still smiling. I mean, you still look like it brings you joy.
It
Keep
does.
going as long as you can.
Well, I know. I'm gonna say 4 years, because as long as I've been a teacher, I am not a morning person.
That's what it is. They need to shift the hour down. If I can come in about 10 in the morning,
Right.
I
It,
got
it
you.
is. You would think, okay, she's been doing this for 21 years, been getting up early. I don't want to get up.
You know what?
I
You
don't
want to
want to get up.
enjoy
Yeah,
that, sleep in if you
yeah, I
got
don't
to.
want to get up early.
Exactly.
But I am, with the time that I have in this space in the
Hmm.
classroom, I plan to continue that. And then I also know, especially with working with the museum and working with other
Yeah.
organizations, I can continue to teach in
Yeah.
other spaces
Mhm.
and places. So
Exactly. You
I'm
still
going to keep
teaching.
doing it.
You're
Yeah.
still doing what you love to do.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
without getting up early.
Without getting, yeah. Monday through Friday. I might want to wake up at 8. Maybe not.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Without having to get up early.
Yeah. Well, we pray that God will just continue to strengthen you. You just keep on sowing them seeds of
Thank
love,
you.
knowledge, and information, and
Thank
keep
you.
making a change. Keep
Thank you.
making that change that this
I
community
I I
needs.
will I will try my best. I
Oh,
really will.
no, thank you so much. And thank you again for watching the
Thank
Mix
you.
Network.